There's something new I've started to do with my marketing, not for this YouTube channel, but for my photography. And I think it's already paying off, so I want to tell you all about it. But firstly, I want to thank Zion and their Weeble gimbal for sponsoring this video, because information like this is costly and normally to go in a workshop, but because they're sponsoring the video with their product, I can give you this for free. Now, if you head over to my commercial website, and for those who don't know, this is not my main gig. I'm a photographer and I have my own website. If you head over there and you head to the About page, you'll notice it's starting to get a little different. For a long time, we've had all the lovely information about who I am, what I am, picture of me with big camera looking all pro. That's been there for a while, but as you scroll down, you'll start to notice some behind the scenes shots and most importantly, a behind the scenes video. It's notoriously hard to get big clients to sign off when you're filming behind the scenes stuff, so most of this is shot during test shoots. We've managed to get 2 clients though to agree for us to shoot behind the scenes footage for my personal promotional videos. That won't be for the YouTube channel, that is purely for my photography company and for my agent to use as marketing materials for us. Now, this whole thing doesn't have to be all that complex. There's levels to doing this, and here's why I think you should do it. There are, admittedly, and the number of people who watch these videos are proof of this, a lot of us photographers, compared to the amount of jobs there are. There's also a lot of good photographers. It's not like some of us are amazing and some of us suck. There's just lots of good ones. There's a whole heap of us you're competing with, and one of the biggest things which makes you get the job and not someone else is that you're a likeable person. If people like you and they want to work with you again, you get more work. Repeat business tends not to come from did they nail the brief, because anyone can. It's did we all have a good time? And for me, part of that is showing the did we have a good time? Is it a happy time on set? Not is it me throwing cameras at assistants and going insane at people? It's are we doing a good job here? And to do that, there's kind of 3 levels to capturing it, which I think are useful. The first is the most simple and most readily available, and that is just to run a time lapse. You can use an intervalometer, little thing you plug into the side of the camera. A lot of modern cameras have time lapse built into them. Shoot the time lapse. You want a frame every 10 seconds. Hit it like in my studio here with a window light and trying to capture for like low light evening like this in the middle of the day. We hit about 400 ISO, 5.6/50th of a second, and it gets everything. It's a bit bright in the bright parts, a bit dark in the dark parts, but generally it looks all right. And also from that, you can grab stills for behind the scenes shots. Very useful, very simple. Beyond that is getting a static video camera. Not any more difficult than a time lapse, apart from it takes up a lot of time. If you shoot an 8-hour day, you got 8 hours of footage. Not ideal, but we often have a static camera running just so we, sometimes you get a cool shot in there. But because they're static, they're not that interesting, which brings us through to the sponsor for today's video. And that's this bad boy here. This is the Weeble S3. Now, we'll go through the features in a minute, but let me just first of all explain to you. A gimbal is not as simple as it sounds. There's a walk you have to do. Once you've balanced your camera on your gimbal, there's a particular walk you have to do with it. You can't just be like, that's not gimbal moving. You do this weird ninja stealth thing where you try and keep as level as possible, but this here allows you to get those beautiful moving shots. We use a gimbal on all of our behind the scenes stuff. Bit of slow-mo, 60 FPS, 120 FPS, it makes everything look biblical. Now, this Weeble here comes with an extra handle to attach to it, and this is great as well because we often shoot with something like a Blackmagic, and although they call them pocket cameras, they're not light, and having that extra support just helps you because over the course of a day, the poor chap who films our stuff, he's got guns of steel, I'll tell you that for nothing. So the latest one comes with a new grip sling and a real energy-saving way of carrying it. It also has a built-in fill light, which you might think, yes, it's a tiny little fill light, but when you're grabbing behind-the-scenes stuff on a photo set, you can't go and pull in a big softbox like this and be like, excuse me, can we just get some lovely light? You need something for the run-and-gun moment. Now, anybody who's anybody at the moment in photography is probably on Instagram, and if you're younger than me, probably TikTok as well. This also has a great mode where you can flip a camera from landscape to portrait. Very useful. I mean, if you've got an 8K camera, you shoot in landscape and you crop it, but often we use a Sony ZV-1 on a gimbal just for the behind the scenes stuff. It's got brilliant autofocus. You get it all rigged up on here. You've got your fill light. You can flip it quickly from landscape to portrait, so you can do a few little clips ready for Instagram for the reels and a few clips ready for YouTube. And that's where you build your behind the scenes stuff. Now, having something like this is very, very useful, especially if you want that high production look to your videos. And what we do is we have this huge RAID drive sat in there, And it's got drives and drives of all this slow-mo footage. You'll notice in my videos we'll sometimes ping it in. Those beautiful moving shots are done with a gimbal. What we're doing over time is we're adding to this scotchasino.com website with the behind the scenes reel, and every time we get some cool footage or something else which shows you what it's like to be on set with me, what it's like to have a shoot with me, and as well for some clients, we get some clients who are new brands that have huge investments put into them, and these people are scared. They're like, we need this. They've gone to the ad agency, and the ad agency have gone, look, use Scott, his agent will produce it, they'll do a great job, and they're like, oh, we don't know, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be like, they've got all these ideas of what it might look like in their head, but now they can see. And this is something I've actually done on my website. This is not just a YouTube video of me going, yes, do this, it's fun, it's content. This is something I'm doing for my marketing well into 2024. We're mixing in those time lapses, those static cameras, and most importantly, those gimbal shots. Now, if you're just getting started and you don't have a big video camera, you can get a time lapse going on your phone. And yes, I've got my name on my phone because I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. You go into a room on a shoot, you all put your phones down, face down. You've all either got a green or a black phone, and they look the same. I come home with someone else's phone every time, so I've named my phone. I mean, I also named my label maker, so read into that what you will. But there we go. That is behind the scenes footage. That is my marketing for 2024. That is the new thing I'm adding to it. If you want to learn more about the Zion Weeble gimbal, head to the link below and you can find one there.